Hi, how are you today? The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
Welcome back, guys, to Psycho Enigma's F1 2016 career mode. It's the Autodromo of speed itself. It's Monza. We've got big upgrades. You just saw the engine upgrade. There's fuel efficiency. And one final one, our drag upgrade. So we are going to be nice and fast in a straight line. And that is what is going to be important around here. You can also see the Sauber have made some very small adjustments to their car. But as we go over now, we are confirmed as the 5th fastest team right on the heels of Williams Racing. So that's just keep going with the upgrades. Here's the results for practice 1. You can see we came in 4th place on the super soft tyre with less than a tenth separating the top 4. Now, admittedly, I was on the super soft tyre because that was my qualifying pace program. The other guys were on soft tyres. But that's a positive show of speed that we can carry around Monza. Here's the points for the first practice there. I didn't actually include any of it because, you know, I include some of it sometimes and sometimes I don't, as it were. So we got 256 resource points after that. So I think now we're just going to really be looking and see what the team wants us to do for qualifying.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
Okay, so qualify 9th and usual guff, you know, but the fact that the team now want us in the top 10s constantly is a sign of how they feel we should be doing. Here we go, Q1, we're on the soft tyre because we showed how fast we could be in practice. So we're going to come across the line outside 22.8, and that's good enough for 8th place. We're only a tenth or like a tenth and a half of Magnussen, who was on the super soft tyre. But you see a lot of the teams using soft tyre in the first part of practice there, with Felipe Massa going fastest. Here's Q2, both Renaults getting into the top 10. Myself 9th, Magnussen is 10th. Massa 8th on the soft tyres, so that's what his strategy is going to be going into the race. So he will be starting on those soft compound tyres, and here we go then for our flying lap. This is our Q3 lap there. You saw we broke at 225 miles an hour, the top speed you're going to get out of a Formula 1 car on on the entirety of the calendar. There's Raikkonen's benchmark of a 121.9. We're flying through Curva Grande, coming up to the second chicane, hit the brakes under the shadow, under the board there, get it in early. I've taken not the most ideal line. I could have probably gone faster through there if I'd actually taken a bit less curb on the inside. First Lesmo here, turn in nice and early, let the car run out wide a bit. Here we come again, braking it around about 60 metres there, get it in nice and early. You can let the car run out wide, but the back end was sliding, which I had to correct. Opening up the DRS now, get the turning right and let the car move to the right hand side of the track, underneath the old Monza bridge now. Under the shadow, I'm braking at about 150 metres for Ascari. Get it in there. Taking too much curb by my own admission on the inside there, but a good run. And then you want to get the car over to the right and gradually, slowly point it left to be able to get the racing line into parabolic. A breaker around about 80 metres. Get the car in, clip the inside curb, let it run out wide. No slide on the back end like I had through the most of practice. Here we come, charging towards the line. And to begin with, it's P1. It's a 21.7. That was probably one of the greatest qualifying laps I've ever done. I was so proud of it. But it was on my Q2 set of tyres. So what I did is I bolted on the set of Q3 mandatory tyres for one more lap. But unfortunately, if you have a look at the timer in the very top right, we run out of time. But there you go. You know, it goes to 0. We run out. Worst part about it, we get second. I don't know when it occurred. It must have occurred as the time ran out, and he must have been, you know, behind me on track. But Daniel Ricciardo, in his Red Bull of all cars, sticks it on pole position. Magnussen is 10th. But we have a front row start for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. And I was surprised. I genuinely was so surprised. The fact that a Renault, you know, known for having no straight line speed compared to Mercedes powered cars, we've stuck it right up there. And, you know, you got a Tag Heuer powered car, which is essentially Renault in the Red Bull. So there we go. It's effectively an all Renault front row for the power-wise, as it were there.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Raikkonen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, few places can hope to touch Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, well, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. It's a very tight turn 1 here and a very big braking zone. It's a corner, Anthony Davidson, where we've seen a number of lap 1 incidents in the past.
As you say, it's a very small piece of track when you have more than just one car trying to go through it. The actual run down towards the chicane is quite wide, so at the start we'll often see drivers running 2 or maybe 3 abreast as they come up towards the braking zone. Everyone wants to brake late, of course, to win track position, and that tends to be where we see a lot of contact. And you'll see the more experienced drivers kind of hang back a little into here and focus more on picking up the pieces from other people's incidents.
You can run side by side into the Rettifilio, but don't brake too late on these cold tyres or you will hit someone.
I have no intention on hitting anyone because I plan on being at the front of the pack there, Mr. Race Engineer. So, contrary to Monza in the in the real life, you know, Monza is usually a 1-stop 2 if you don't feel, you know, your tyres can do it. Apparently, we had the option of 3 or 4 stop. So I did adjust it. Super softs at the very start, pit early onto another set, and then essentially mediums, and then a set of soft tyres late in the Grand Prix. I do believe this is our first front row start in this career mode, so we need to see what we can do going into turn 1. As our engineer did say, you know, breaking down into the Rettifilio is going to be big for turn 1. But here we go, we're going to come now. We're on the... There's not so much of a difference here on Monza for the grid, because a lot of it is going straight through off of the final corner for the shortest runs. There's no clean side of the track, as it were. So here we go. We've just got Daniel Ricciardo between us and the lead as we go to 3, 4, 5 lights, and the Italian Grand Prix is go, and we've got a better start than Daniel Ricciardo down to turn 1. Ricciardo's got a bad one. Both Mercedes look to overtake him. We've got a clean run into the Rettifilio now. Let's not outbrake ourselves and give anyone an opportunity. Hamilton originally looks to stick his nose down there, but I think we've got away with it, and we are leading out of the Rettifilio into turn 1 as we now charge towards the Curva Grande, as we essentially looking in a very good position for ourselves, but we've got to be careful as the Mercedes, the most powerful engine in Formula 1, is the fastest car. Hamilton half a second behind at the end of lap 1. Magnussen's already in the pit, so he's had a scuffle on the first lap. He was, you know, bottom end of the top 10 as he went into the Rettifilio. Let's have a look what's going on here then for him. So he's coming in. It's got to be nothing short of a front wing change. Yep, front wing's off. He's switching to a set of soft compound tyres, and that's essentially his race absolutely ruined. It'll be good for him to get points today if he can. And here's some stuff going on at the start of lap 2. It looks as if Perez, or one of the Force Indians there, was it Perez? It was indeed Perez, has made contact with the Red Bull of what must only be Daniel Ricciardo. No, it looked like Daniel Ricciardo. No, it was Daniel Ricciardo. Sorry, I thought it was Max Verstappen, but he was lower in the pack, so it was Ricciardo. End of lap 2. Hamilton is all over us. Regardless of our upgrades, the Mercedes is still the fastest car in Formula 1 at the moment. We've gone a little bit wide through Parabolica. Hamilton's got a wonderful run on us. We're just essentially in the lead as we cross the line. Hamilton does a half a second lap faster than us. We go across to the right to look to cover it. Going towards the Rettifilio. It's going to be last of the late breakers. Hamilton using all of the road. Keeps it on the inside. Oh, he's made contact and Hamilton's round in the Rettifilio. Let's go on board with Hamilton. You see us to the right. He brakes later, goes to the very right. He's already tried to turn in. He wasn't very far. We gave him a little bit of room and he's gone into our side pod. Raikkonen then sends him round there and does damage to the front wing. But here we go. It's the end of lap 4. The top guys of pit. We're going to be peeling into the pit lane here. And it was so difficult. Like, I went in so slowly because Monza, you're used to just tearing out the Parabolica and the game doing it for you, you know. But obviously in this game, you you have to do the slowing down. So I approached it with a lot of caution. We had a good few seconds back to Valtteri Bottas. It's a fresh set of super soft tyres here. Monza always feels like you lose a lot of places just because everyone's travelling so quick. 2.9 by the Renault boys, so nothing special. We come out behind the Saubers, who were battling into turn 1. I believe Bottas pit behind us for another set of super soft tyres. And here we go, we're behind now later on into lap 5. These are the two Saubers racing each other. They're on medium tyres that have done a bit of work. We get a good run out of Lesmo too. Open up the DRS. We get past Ericsson and we pass Felipe Nasr. And we're now up behind Rio Haryanto. So the back marker's running on the mediums, looking to go quite far into this race. Haryanto's having a wonderful scrap with Danny Kvyat here through Ascari. They hold each other up though. And we're going to use our extra fuel mixture, our higher speed, our softer tyres. And we're going to head straight past them. Up now into 11th place as we come down towards Parabolica. And what is going on here? There's 4-5 wide through Parabolica. And this is going to be dangerous unless loads of cars pit. Verstappen peels in, Haas pulls in. We've got Pascal Wehrlein and Nico Rosberg ahead of us on medium compound tyres. We're looking to get a little bit of a tow. Build up towards the speed. We're going to brake at 150 metres. Wehrlein comes across. We've got to make a very late move down the inside of the Rettifilio. And we're through up into 7th place. Pascal Wehrlein coming across very late there. Let's get a look at the replay of that. Over the head of our car. So we've got no one there. We slam on the brakes. Wehrlein comes across. We had no choice but to lunge down the inside. Otherwise, we would have had a catastrophic incident. Here it is from Wehrlein, who was pushing Toro Rosso of Sainz across. He comes across in the braking zone of all places. And look at the way our Renault just came through on his mirror and through onto the inside. Luckily for ourselves, we didn't wipe each other out. And we're through now into 6th place behind Carlos Sainz, who we're now going to use the DRS against that Toro Rosso. He's got the 2015 Ferrari engine, so unfortunately not going to be as quick. We go past him, and now we sit behind Esteban Gutierrez in the Haas, up in 5th place. So he's doing pretty well for himself. He's taken his super soft tyres relatively far. We pit a couple of laps ago, bearing in mind he's probably on a fresh set. We pull out of the slipstream behind Gutierrez, and we go straight past him. Back in behind Jensen Button now. Through Parabolica, getting the line just right, sitting in his slipstream. Lose a little bit at the back end on the exit, but, you know, we use our power. The Renault might not be the best in a straight line, but it's certainly better than the Honda. And we pull ourselves up into 2nd place. Nico Hülkenberg lead this Grand Prix on soft compound tyres. We'll see how far he can go. And now, here we are a couple of laps later. This is Rosberg battling Raikkonen and Kevin Magnussen. And, well, 3 into 1 didn't go. And he's gone around. A Red Bull's hit him. And I don't know what that's done for Rosberg's race. He's trying to get it out of there. But lap 10, we've taken the lead after Hülkenberg had pit. Rio Haryanto in 2nd on his medium tyres. We're coming in. We went 1 lap further than the strategy had advised us to get off these soft compound tyres. We're going to be jumping onto a set of medium tyres now in the look to take us deep into this Grand Prix. And then we'll swap over for a set of soft compound tyres at the end, provided all goes well. But I believe both Manners have just gone charging past us. Raikkonen's through, a couple of other cars. We're going to be dropped down to around about 8th place. Now this is very interesting. Nico Hülkenberg has overtaken us for 7th, and he's on another set of soft tyres. We're on a set of medium, so we've pit twice. Hülkenberg has pit once, and I believe we both only have 1 stop remaining in this Grand Prix. We're now a few laps later. You can see Hülkenberg's made his way up the field a little bit there. And we are also behind Fernando Alonso, who is in 3rd place. He actually peels off into the pit lane here. So now we're lap 15. We've got DRS. Are we getting any kind of slipstream off Hülkenberg here as we head into turn 1? Look at the speed. We build up to 225 miles now. Hit the brakes. And we're so close to the back of the Force India. I don't know what it is going into turn 1, but my God, we nearly ploughed straight into the back of him. Look at the distance that was made into this braking zone. Originally, I moved over just to almost feint a look, but we nearly ploughed straight into the back of him. Here it is from Hülkenberg. Look in his right mirror. Look at the closing speed of my Renault, and I nearly just creamed into the back of him. It was certainly, you know, I was clutching the controller after that one. I don't know why the closing speed was so insane. As we look at it again, look, this is on the back of Hülkenberg, and look in the super slow-mo how close this is. I don't know how we didn't lose a front wing and have our race completely ruined there. It was just madness. But anyway, Hulkenberg peels in for what I believe to be his final stop of the race, as he has to go to another set of tyres, and the only choice that will get him to the end is mediums. So what we have to do now is eke out our tyres as far as we can. They were still doing fairly well at the end of lap 19. Have a look in the top left as we've got a Manor 2-3 of Harriento and Wehrlein. And you can see now we're going to pit at the end of lap 20 as our mediums were starting to just ever so slightly drop off. So we're now going to be coming in. There you see Hulkenberg is up to 3rd position. So it's down to the Renault boys now to get me on a set of soft compound tyres that will see me through to the end of this race. I couldn't risk super softs because I know it had no fresh sets left. They were going to be scrubbed and they might not have got me to the end. Whereas the soft tyres will be good for longer. It's a 2-second stop by the Renault boys. How close is it going to be? Hulkenberg has come powering out of Parabolica. He's up into 2nd place. We accelerate out the pit lane now. Hulkenberg's already doing 200 miles an hour. And he's going to get us going into the Rettifilio. And so we're going to have to slot in behind him and Nico Rosberg. So here we go now. It's lap 21. Coming up to the 2nd chicane. We're in the slipstream of Hulkenberg. We feint a look down the inside. Certainly not going to go for something that's suicidal. Rosberg has held up Hulkenberg, and that's allowed us to get through into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Rosberg adhering to the blue flags in one of the worst imaginable positions, but it's allowed us to take the lead. Lap 22 into Ascari. Look at the speed difference between myself and Hulkenberg. But we fend him off into Ascari. And now, this was a few laps later, Rosberg decided to get in the play. Look, it's 3 abreast into Parabolica. Hulkenberg's on the outside. We nearly touch. Rosberg down the inside. He's in the Mercedes. He's unlapping himself. We're racing side by side with a Renault. Why is he doing this? You can see his pace as he does a 123. But it did not matter because our soft tyres were just at Hulkenberg had the greater straight line speed. I couldn't break the 1 second window. He's going to try one final time into Parabolica. He's gone to the outside. We brake early. Run it a little bit wider, force him out and get the longer exit. And that's going to allow us to come through for our 2nd victory of the 2016 season. As we cross the line, we won this one on merit. Azerbaijan was luck. We earned this one today. And Hulkenberg, what a drive for 2nd place.
A great win then for the Renault team today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Well, this is it. This is where they all want to be. Here come the top 3 then, out onto the podium after a fascinating Grand Prix. So then, it's time to see how this...
And there we go. So we won by a 1/10 of a second. I don't know what Anthony Davidson... We had a couple of VSCs during the Grand Prix, but no actual safety car. You know, that's something that I would have definitely included. Lewis Hamilton recovered to 3rd position. Jenson Button getting a 4th. You know, the 2 guys running the 2-stop there definitely did very well. I just wanted to show you guys at the end to confirm that was 100% Ultimate AI. You know, we're still running on that. I wouldn't drop it down, so I figured I would show you that we won a race on merit on Ultimate AI. You know, I mean, Monza is a track that usually you can do pretty well. Moving on to the driver's standings, we are in 3rd place at 151 points. We're still above Kimi Räikkönen there. We scrolled down, just have a little look. Everyone has scored a point this season, interestingly enough. Look at Wehrlein there on 31 points. You know, but I'm pretty sure both Manors finished in the points here in Monza. You'd hope so with the Mercedes power that they have. And as we move on to the constructors now, by the looks of things, I'm sure we'll move over there eventually, or I'm just going to hover there. There we go. So we're at 188, so we're bearing down on Red Bull, who are only 6 points ahead of us there. But of course, no one catching Mercedes at the top of the tree there. But here we go. We're just in the paddock here in Italy. What a race it was. So glad to get the win. A win on merit. A second win of the season there. And you can see it, it's getting to a nice evening sunlight here in Monza. We now lead the rivalry against Kimi Räikkönen as well, which is rare. He's beaten us a couple of times. We got 580 resource points. We could get a fuel efficiency upgrade, but it's not really worth it at this time. We need to wait for probably a few more points, a few more weekends for a bigger package. And then we're just going to have a look. Look, it's like Monza first, and there's also first at Azerbaijan. So that's the silverware that we've had. We've definitely had some rough races. I can definitely recall Bahrain and Germany as those two. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment any feedback down below. Subscribe to be the first notified about the content coming to this channel. And I will see you all next time.